Welcome back to the channel, guys. Joseph Bikini Designs, and in today's video you clicked on the link. It's all about recovery. Now, we've done a couple of videos on the channel regarding recovery, but it was a great opportunity. Now that I have Jakes with me, we can actually showcase two different styles of recovery systems, from a kind of a more basic setup to a more complex advanced system that again there's so much more components in this kit compared to the other kit. Sometimes it is slightly overwhelming to those of you out there, but we want to showcase the differences between these things so you know where to make your choices depending on the current setup on your vehicle. So without further ado, let's get straight into it.
Well, hello guys, you join me in front of the old Rhino, and here I have for you quite a basic recovery setup. So first off, one thing you should start off at the beginning is traction boards. These things are worth their weight in gold. They will get you out of most sticky situations. You just place them under your driven wheels and you'll be pulled out. I've come a cropper. If I had these bad boys with me, I would have been able to self-recover. But sometimes that is not enough. Sometimes you are so deep stuck in the mud, you need a bit of a helping hand. Obviously, don't forget your safety equipment, because especially when you start using your equipment a long time, you'll start picking up all sorts of stuff, and then you don't want to hurt your hands. So, working from the vehicle forward, this system does rely on you being with a mate to get you out of trouble. So you have good old steel shackles. These will go to the recovery points underneath the bumper here, and they will connect to the bridle strap, which will form the front U shape so that you can connect your soft shackle. Now the soft shackle, back in the old days we used to use normal steel shackles on here, but soft shackle is less likely to kill you when something goes wrong. So most people are starting to use the soft shackles. They're just as strong, if not more. They're made from Kinetic Rope, so they are stronger than steel as they are. Mine is it's a bit fancy. It comes with a protective sheath, but that's not required. It is just a gimmick added by Terra Firma, the company that makes this. That then takes us onto the Kinetic Rope. It looks like a normal rope, but under severe tension it actually stretches out, and that helps and uses the kinetic energy stored within the rope to give you that extra shove out of the system. You lie it in a snake pattern as we have it here, and then you have another soft shackle, or seeing as it's connected to the vehicle and it's not likely to be shot across the rest of the plane, you can use a steel shackle. This will then connect to the vehicle doing the recovery, and he then sets off, goes thumbs up to both parties. As he drives off, you start driving, and your vehicle slowly but surely, the tension builds. Well, I say slowly but surely, it's actually quite a violent action, because you want to build that kinetic energy within the rope, and as the rope contracts, it gives you a little extra pull, and it pulls you out of the trouble. And with your wheels working in concert with your mate's wheels, you then end up with a normal tow, and it tows you out of trouble. Like I say, it's very simple. It's quite a cheap system, but you need a friend. This is only self-recover down to the boards. To use this, you definitely need your friend to pull you out of the trouble. But you don't want to go off-roading alone anyway. It's just boring.
Righty guys, so bringing on to the more advanced kits is basically, it encompasses from the bumper, the winch, and all the components going forward. So in order for you to have a winch, you'll need a bumper of some sort in terms of either steel, aluminium, whatever it is, whatever is to your preference. In my case, we went for the option 4x4 one, and we've got a 9,500 pound winch in there. which is rated to the weight of the vehicle. So you need to take that into account when looking at items such as this. So you can always scale up and go to 12,500 or 10,000, kind of give you that fudge factor in terms of if you are going to add a lot more gear to your truck, then you are capable and you know that you have full confidence in your winch that it'll be able to take the strain and the weight of your vehicle. But what Jake's really mentioned, which is quite key in this whole setup, and again, even with the winch and the bumper and all these components, the first thing I would rely on is the recovery boards, 100%. These are your go-to straight away. If you're in trouble, get these out. They're quick and easy, and 9 times out of 10 you'll get out of trouble with these. And these are relatively inexpensive compared to a lot of other components on there. So, but one thing that you'll probably notice in the video is that the color difference between Jake's ones and mine are obviously is quite clear. So I've left mine on the roof, which is a big no-no. You shouldn't be doing that to plastic because it will lose its strength over time. So don't do it. So going through the actual gear itself. So you've got your recovery boards. Again, we touched on safety. Always protect your hands in these situations because you can be driving. Use your hands on everything. So protect your hands first and foremost. When you're using a winch, safety is paramount. Winch blanket. So you want to make sure winch blanket is used in your recovery situations. So that basically goes over just a Velcro system. You have a pocket on one side which you can fill with sand or any other sort of weighted objects. Don't put any sort of bricks or stones or anything like that, because again it becomes like an object that can move. So you want to get sand that basically weighs the dyneema rope down. So in terms of winches, a lot of winches now are becoming a lot safer in terms of the actual rope used. So a lot of the winches now are switching over to dyneema, a lot safer in terms of recoveries from the old cable system. So when you buy a winch, you'll get a fair lead, and that will protect your rope, and it won't score your rope in any way. So in terms of the winch itself, very, very simple to operate. You either have remote or you have a lined connection with a clutch for allow you to in and out. But we won't go too into depth with those kind of bits and pieces. So once you've got your winch blanket, you can apply your winch blanket to your dyneema rope. So you've got that safety aspect covered. So moving forward into the actual winching system, it comes onto your hook. Now, when you get your winch, you tend to have very, very cheap metal hooks on there. So what I've upgraded to, this is the Factor 55 Ultra hook. Now this is a hefty bit of kit, very, very costly to save just for a hook, but it does exactly what it needs to do on the tin. But there's a lot of things on this hook, such as a soft shackle connection, and it can also go into a D-shackle. You can use that on soft shackles as well, but it's the ease of use and obviously the strength of this component, which is something that is quite important to myself in terms of safety. So Ultra hook, not ultimately necessary, but a good upgrade. So moving yourself forward, if you are looking at like a self recovery, then you can rely on a pulley block. Okay, so you do have cheaper pulley blocks on the market which are quite heavy. This is the Factor 55 rope retention pulley, and now as you can see, it encompasses a soft shackle, again very nice and safe. So you're stepping away from any flying components. And the actual pulley itself, it's basically machined aluminium, and you've got these little plastic tabs which keeps the rope in place. So if this actually drops tension, the rope won't pop out of the pulley, which is quite a nice little thing. So you don't have to go back to your pulley and reroute the rope through your pulley, so it keeps the stuff in there. So then moving forward from this, you've got a tree strap. Now this, again, does exactly what it says on the tin. It's made to wrap around a tree and protect the tree and spread that weight around the tree, and that will hook into your soft shackle very, very easily. And then following from that, if you are just going to do an extension, so with your winch you generally get about 30 meters of dyneema rope. If you have a suitable recovery point away from the vehicle, and if you're slightly out of reach, I tend to use a extension strap or a tow strap, which will act as an extension strap. This is another 30 meters, so I have 60 meters of reach, which gives me a lot of flexibility. So depends on where you are. There's not, especially on the UK, especially Salisbury Plain, there's not a lot of trees in the areas that you can utilize, as you can imagine. So something like this is quite useful. And then kind of going back to the bumper is make sure that you've got a recovery point. So I've got 4 recovery points. So I've got 2 on the bumper, and I've actually got 2 underneath, but those are my chassis recovery points, which are, I've got soft shackles just so I can identify where they are for video purposes. So in terms of the recovery points on the bumper, you don't want to do a snatch recovery off a bumper. However, you can use this as a double line pull. So basically what you're doing is you're going through your pulley block, you're going around an object such as a tree, and then this ultra hook will basically come back onto your vehicle. So as the winch is pulling in, it's pulling on the other side of your vehicle, so you're spreading the weight. Ultimately though, with anything that's connected to the bumper in any way, you want to spread the load with a bridle strap in any way. So if you've got a bridle strap, use that on there if you don't have chassis recovery points, but do not do a snatch recovery on a bumper. It's a big no-no. So try and do a more of a controlled recovery, such as a double line pull, because you're basically doubling the power of your winch with one of these. So it's definitely a worthwhile investment. And then to house all your goodies, get yourself a decent recovery bag. You can put all your goodies in there, keeps it all nice and neat. It stays in the back of your truck. It shouldn't leave the back of your truck. So every time you come out, you know exactly where it is. Nice bright colors, got it in there, and you can put loads of other things in there, like tire repair kits, all that kind of stuff. So recovery gear.
Yeah. So you've nicely stepped through all your components.
Yeah.
What's the biggest drawback you think with that?
Cost, 100%.
Yeah.
100% is cost. I kind of did the maths a few moments ago, and I was quite shocked how much I spent. But that does include the bumper and the winch.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, if you're going down this route, be expected to start, investing in, a lot of money in terms of, components and stuff. But don't cheap out on stuff if you can. So try and find stuff that are reasonably decent, and go with that. But I mean, these are relatively cheap and very readily available on eBay and stuff.
Yeah, I think they were.
But they still do the job.
And that's the thing. You can opt for the Max one, the one with the
Extreme,
steel,
yeah.
Yeah, Extreme. That's the one. But in the end of the day, it does the same job. And if you snap it, well,
yeah,
you need a lot to snap a Max Strax.
Yeah.
But no, in the end of the day, if you snap one of these, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You can easily get a new one. I know you say the biggest cost is your bumper, but you do get other benefits from your bumper, such
Sure.
as increased approach angles.
Yes.
Like it's easy to see between the two trucks.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I'm scraping the ground. I'm basically being a plow most of the time, yeah. Where Justin's got great ground clearance. Now, it's space for activities, like mounting points for antenna and lights. So you get more than just a recovery option with a winch bumper. Yeah. Where the system here behind me, it's cheap. Quickly coiling the sums together, it was about £200 for everything down here. That's a great entry point into
absolutely.
recovery.
Yeah, agreed.
So you've got options to self-recover, and when your mates are out, like we said, you'll be able to get out of trouble.
100%. I mean, something like, I don't like to cheap out on a lot of things. I mean, if I'm on a budget, which you guys will see through my videos, if I'm on a strict budget, then you'll see where they come out in the truck. But they've worked. That's the thing. I've used it and it's worked, and I'll either go back to it. But after a period of time, I'll probably upgrade maybe the boards to something a bit more decent. But again, you've got to try and justify that.
Yeah.
Is it really necessary right now? And it depends where you go, I guess, and what you're doing at the time, the expeditions or whatever you're doing. Then maybe invest. But if you, like you pointed out, is if you are going out by yourself, you've got to be prepared for self-recoveries. You've got to have that mindset, and it's just nice to have that level of insurance that, you know, if anything did go south pretty quickly, you'd be able to help yourself out.
And that's one thing on four-wheel drive vehicles. You should probably have 4 traction boards.
Yeah.
To put in all of your driven in front of all your driven wheels.
Yeah.
That just increases your chances of self-recovery. It's not required, but it just increases your chances of getting out of the sticky stuff.
And again, yeah, I mean, you could four boards, $120.
Yeah.
$150 tops. You know, that's still not even touching the price of, you know, the expensive boards, which you only get 2. So it's, I mean, relatively inexpensive, and it'll get you out of. I mean, I've used these once so far. And I mean, you use them for little bridging gaps and trying to get out of a rut or whatever, and you kind of see where this is going. You're trying to justify that cost of either Max Track Extreme, which is like almost £500. You've got the Albeit Tread Pros, which are, I think, £250. What I will say about the Tread Pros is that they've got, I think, a lifetime guarantee on them. So
that's good.
Yeah, so that's something to weigh up. So if you want to invest in something like that, then that is probably a good option. But
and again, your traction boards now, it's dual utility. Look at my truck; it's currently standing at an angle. So trying to get that level, you just put your traction boards down and use it to level your truck again. So again, you know, don't just look at it as a one-hit wonder. They do have other uses as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, I mean, guys, if you guys have any questions or comments, suggestions, let us know down below. We'd love to hear from you guys, what you guys use, or what do you think we should improve on, or things we need to look at. That's always good. We do this to help educate you what we've gone through, and it's always nice to hear from, you know, you folks out there. And by all means, I mean, have a look at the channel. If you guys are new here, subscribe. It's all free stuff. What more can you ask for? But yeah, definitely. We'll look forward to see you guys in the next video.
Yeah,
definitely. See you
next
later.
one.